Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to remove the rear wheel of a Buell XB. You should always have a service manual, especially for a job like this. You should always have the proper tools. Okay, you can't be responsible for what you do your own bike. Sit back, enjoy the video, learn how to remove the rear wheel on a Buell XB. Take care, I'll see you soon. Alright guys, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the chin spoiler here. Okay, you got 3 on this side. You got two of these on the other, and you got 2 right here in the front. Okay, if you got your bike on the race stands, okay, like I got them on the race stands, you might want to take these out before you put them up on the race stands. Okay, and then let me take that off for you. I already took some of the other ones off for the sake of time. Alright. Alright. And then this just comes off. Alright. I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is we're going to remove the foot peg mount here. Okay. So there's 3 bolts right here and here. I already started loosening them. I'll take the rest, take it out. Okay, and what we do is we'll hang this with a bungee cord. Okay, gotta get this out of the way so we can get this cover off. Belt cover. Alright, I'm going to hang this with a bungee cord, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the belt guard here. Belt cover, sprocket cover, whatever. Okay, you're going to take out this 3, 1, 2, and 3. Alright, and then that'll come off. Okay, like I said, I started these already. Okay, there's a little back guard here, a little mouth guard. That's gonna like come down, but that's okay. It just droops a little bit. There it goes. Alright. Alright, you take the cover off. Alright, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, now we're going to go on to the other side of the bike real quick, and we're going to just take the rear caliper off, and we will hang that with the bungee cord. That's right, I like my bungee cords. Alright, we're going to take off the hose bracket here, and then these 2 bolts right here, and then the caliper comes right off. These hex bolts, I don't really like hex bolts that much. Not that it really matters if I like them, but they can get easily damaged is why I don't like them. Okay, you just got to be very careful. You got to make sure when you use one of these sockets or the Allen wrenches, it's all the way in. It's got to be all the way in. Okay, just remember that because they're very easy to shred. Like some of the other ones on the other side, I can show you the little ones and stuff. The dealer took care of those for me by shredding them, but they're easily replaceable. You know, it's no big deal. All right. Make sure it's all the way in. Okay, and don't over torque them. And put them back on. Alright. Just wiggle that out. Okay. And do not squeeze the push the brake pedal down on this. Okay, these the pistons can come out on these. Okay, and I'm going to hang this with a bungee cord, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. The next step is to loosen the pinch bolt, which is under here. Okay. And one of the keys to doing this is when you put it back together. You definitely do not over torque these, okay? Make sure it's all the way in. Alright. There you go. Make sure it's nice and loose. take it out, but you can if you want. Just make sure it's nice and loose, all right? All right, and I'll be right back. The next step, we're going to loosen the axle. All right, guys, the next thing to do is to loosen the axle. Use the adapter that came with the bike. All right, I had to loosen this a little bit. Tells you to give it 15 turns. I'm going to give it a little bit more. Okay, this loosens up the belt. All right, just keep going. I'm going to loosen it a little bit more, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing to do is to remove the pulley, these two nuts right here. Okay, the key to this is make sure you have the axle loosened enough, at least 15 turns. I use maybe a little bit more. If it's too tight when you're trying to pull it off, just loosen the rear axle a little bit more. Okay? Like I said, that's especially important when you're putting it back on, because this is a little tight when you put it back on. But take your time and you'll get it back on. Alright, I just gotta wait, listen. It should be loose enough. Just like I said, it comes right off. Beautiful. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is to take off the lower belt guard. Mine's in 03, so I guess this was more involved. It's not all that difficult. I guess the later models are a little bit easier to take off. I don't know, they redesigned it. But this isn't so bad. Okay, you got 3 under here, 4, 5, and 6. Alright. Try not to block the view. Alright, I had taken 2 other ones off already. Okay. Pull that out. See, this is the top belt guard. Pull that out a little bit, and then that just comes down. Alright, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is we're going to remove the fasteners to the upper belt guard. But the belt, this part of this is actually mounted to the brace here, which we'll be taking off next. We got the one in the back over here. Okay, this is for the fasteners. We got one here, and here. That one we took off already. This one is one of the, and there's one over here. It's one of the to the swing arm here. That's got to come off too. All right. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's see. One behind here. You get at it through the wheel. Okay, get it right through the wheel. Alright. And the last one is on this swing arm here. I already loosened this one a little bit. That's a hex bolt in there, so like I said before, careful with the heads on those. They shred pretty easy. Okay, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move the swing arm brace. Okay, you got 2 down here, 2 short ones down here, 1 long one up here. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little trick on how to get this, separate the brace, the front guard from the rear guard here. Okay, I already loosened these, I started them, so I'm going to take them out. up here. All right, I'm gonna light this up in here. Okay, I'm going to show you this right in here. Okay. In here, okay, the front guard has to be separated from the rear guard. See if you can see that in order to get this piece out. Okay. Okay, that's a little trick you got to do, and then I'll show you the rest of it here. All right. You gotta slide the back off of that piece. There you go, and it comes out. Okay. Let me show you that piece again. You just gotta work with it a little bit. Okay, you gotta slide the inner one off of that. Okay, and then the outer one, and then you pull the whole piece off. Okay, it's not too involved. You just gotta take your time, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. The next step is to slide the belt off. Okay. Just do that. Just slides right off now. Oil a little bit, slide it off. It comes off pretty easy. Okay. You just leave it on the side here. If you're not replacing the belt, you don't have to jack the bike up or anything. You just leave it on the side just like that. Okay, and then we're going to take the axle off. Okay. Just take the axle off. Where's my adapter here? I do it by hand. All right, take the axle out. Sorry for that long-winded screw down there. All right, put that on the side. The axle gets out. All right, then just take the wheel out. All right. And that's how you take the rear wheel out of a Buell. And I'll be right back. Show you how to reinstall it. Alright guys, now we're going to reinstall the wheel. A couple things, you know, while you got the wheel out, of course you can get a tire, get the bearings. If you're going to replace the fender, now's a good time to replace the fender in the back here. Or clean it out. I like to clean mine out from all the road debris that's built up in the crack in there that you can't get out normally. And okay, let's put the tire on. Let me show you one more thing here. Once I get the tire on, I put it up on a piece of wood or a brick to hold it in place while I'm going to put the axle in. Okay, it's good when you're by yourself. Okay, so you don't have to fight with the tire. And make sure the belt is on the outside and this guard is up against the swing arm here. Just take your time, you'll get it in nice and slow. Lift it, put on this brick, lift it up. Alright, and I'll be right back and we'll install the axle. Alright guys, now we're going to install the axle. Don't forget to put anti-seize right here, okay? The outer edge is there. I'll put a little bit here and there. Just slide her in. Now not tighten it up right now. Okay, and I'll be right back because this anti-seize gets all over the place. Okay, so be very careful with it. You don't want it all over the belt. Let me just wipe my hands and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is going to put the belt back on the pulley. Okay, make sure the front sprocket is on first. Okay, leave this nice and loose back here. Okay, it makes it a lot easier to put the belt on. I learned that a long time ago, the first time I took it off. Alright, keep it nice and loose. Lift the wheel. Just stretch it on around there. Slide it on. Alright, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is we're going to put the swing arm brace in. We're going to install it, loosely. This is the part that gets a little tricky. Remember with the inner belt guard, the outer belt guard. Just take your time with this. I might end up blocking the shot a little bit when I'm doing this. But listen, if you had enough by now, take a break before you do this, because this is the trickiest part, and it's not really that difficult. Alright, let's give it a shot. And we've got to get this part in down here. Okay, just like I said, if you take your time. Slide it in, okay. Okay, and the inner belt guard, you just gotta work with it. Hold it forward a little bit. And the plastic stretches, just don't force it, it won't snap, it's got a nice flex to it. Alright, and then let me put the bolts in for the swing arm brace. Do not tighten up the axle before you put this brace on. I wanted to mention that also. Okay, you can bend the. Well, it says you can bend the swing arm. I don't know if you can. I mean, it's pretty strong, but I don't want to chance it. You know what I mean? Just do this stuff in order, and it's not really that difficult. All right, guys. I'm just going to loosely install this. Don't tighten this up yet, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. The next thing to do is install the upper belt guard. Okay. If you can see this. Alright, you got one here, okay. You got that large bolt over here that goes into the swing arm. Okay, you got the one from behind the rear wheel over here. You get it from the other side. Let's see, my legs are there. You get it from the back. Okay, over here. Alright, and make sure this metal piece here, it's still loose. That's where the front cover mounts to. Make sure that's behind the guard. Okay. You just tighten them up, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing to do is to tighten up the swing arm brace bolts. Okay. Now don't forget to torque these babies up, okay? Alright. Good. Good. Another one up on the top. Good. Alright, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is to install the lower belt guard. Okay. You gotta push the belt up a little bit. Okay, so we didn't put the pulley on yet. And this piece right here goes behind the top guard. Let's get this in line first. Belt up. Alright. Start that. Alright guys, I'm going to put the rest of them on. You got here, here, and you got 3 under here. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is to install the idler pulley. This was the part that I found most frustrating the first time I did it. I realized you just have to leave it loose enough in the back, I don't really count the number of turns and stuff. Just leave it loose enough so that you can slide this back on, because you can end up fighting with this thing if it's just not loose enough. Okay. All right, you slide it right back on. Put the nuts on. Torque them up. Alright, button this up, torque it up, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing to do is put the axle back in and torque it up. I didn't want to bore you with the the tightening it like I did with the untightening it. I'm going to torque it right now, and then we'll check to see if there's any noise or anything on the belt. Alright guys, it's very, very, very important not to over torque these axles, okay? It will ruin the bearings. This 03, you got to check in your service manual. The 03 is 49 to 52, so I torque it to 50. That's it. It doesn't sound like a lot. I know the other Harleys and stuff, my V-Rod's 150 on the back. Okay? You over torque it, it will ruin the bearings, among other things. Alright, now just spin the wheel and listen for any belt noise hitting the guard or anything else. Alright. Alright, that sounds good. Alright. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing to do is to tighten up the pinch bolt. Okay? Torque down. I already did this for the sake of time. I'm not going to do it now. Okay, it's already tightened and torqued. Okay, don't forget to do this. Okay, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is to put the rear caliper back on. Slide it on. Set it off. Alright, good. Alright guys, I'm going to button this up, torque them up, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is to put on the pulley cover. Alright, make sure it goes through the metal plate on the back one here. It should be lined up though once you get the other two lined up. Alright guys, let me finish buttoning it up, torquing it up, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the next step is to put the foot peg mount back on. Almost there. Alright guys, let me just torque that up and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the last step is to put on the chin spoiler. I'm not going to bore you with that. A friend of mine out there, she says this is corn pop yellow. Because a bird, I think her bird is Buell yellow, but she says my bike is corn pop yellow. Just thought I'd throw that out there for her. Alright, and that's basically it now. Now you know how to take the rear wheel off a Buell XB. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Take care.